Welcome you beautiful people to the Banner Gaming's Ahead of the Curve. This is Kimosabix.
I'm Naomii.
And this is Wisdom.
This is episode 5. Bum bum bum. Let's get into some... What did you do in Warcraft, guys? What'd you do?
I played some Mythic, I got some Valor, and I got a Moose Mount.
Moose!
Everybody's excited for Moose Mount. I got
Except Wisdom,
a much...
because he doesn't do the Moose Mount symbol.
He's very excited.
I think I'm more excited for Moose Mount than you are. I just don't make myself look ridiculous. I got the Mudback River Beast, I believe it's called, out of the shipyard, and I've gotten 5 or 6 other rare missions, mostly for gold and things like that this week. But I think it just goes to show that, at least for me, the hotfixes are finally taking effect. I didn't get any of the rare shipyard missions except for Left Shark until just recently. So it's nice to see some of those things actually having an impact on my game, but didn't get to play much overall.
What did you do?
What did I do? I carried some bad tank through Mythic Dungeons.
Wow.
And
Man.
we had 3 hunters, though, so it didn't matter.
That's a conversation we could have.
Oh, jeez.
You really want to have that conversation?
and then we, what else did I do? Oh, hero sale. I bought some heroes. It's pretty much buy one, get one free. It's 50% off, so I bought a bunch of heroes, and now I can use the gold for some master skins and be all super cool like Wisdom. So, did I do anything else? I now play some Hearthstone, playing with some mid-range druid deck, which I'm still learning. I like the whole concept. The druid thing is weird for me because I like card trading up, so I like trading one card to kill 2 cards or one card to gain 2 cards. I'm a very big card trader, and the druid deck is really a weird concept for me because you're kind of trading down, so like you're using a card to get 2 mana to be able to play a card faster, instead of using 2 cards in the place of 1 and hoping that the other person doesn't have a quick counter, and you're just trying to dominate the field quickly. It's a weird concept for me, but I'm actually kind of enjoying it. So I like it. I like it.
I like the variety that you get in a druid deck, where if you want to, you can on the fly sort of play 2 different games, so if you're getting a really offensive push early on, you can build a lot of your minions for taunt and things like that. When you have a chance to drop them, or if you don't have taunt walls to get there, you can push for power and then overwhelm them that way.
So I bought a lot of extra heroes. It was nice, and I had a good time on Warcraft. Not a very big Warcraft week for me though. More of a heroes week. So, but
I saw something interesting. Wisdom had sent us some footage for a different video about garrisons, and something I saw on the footage was the new carrier ship for the shipyard has a runway. And I got really excited because Wisdom was like on the runway, and then he took off, and then you could see like the little aircrafts flying around and landing on the runway. It was freaking awesome, and I thought that was really cool. And I'm very excited to have my own, so I can like play on the runway.
yeah. I never knew they had a runway.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Yeah, the shipyard
You should
really
watch
does
the
get
video.
knocked.
Sorry, go ahead.
The shipyard does get knocked a lot for not having enough content put into it, and I do agree that they could have done a lot more with it. But at the same time, they did put a decent amount of effort into what's going on there. Once you get a fully developed shipyard, there's a fair amount going on out there. So,
kids, once your shipyard fully develops, there will be a lot going on.
I just had an image of a machinima dance squad like on the runway, doing like a Michael Jackson dance or something.
Just rocking out.
That would be awesome. We should totally do that.
But since we can't dance on a runway right now, let's get into the Warcraft news.
So Winter Veil is coming up here, and we want to give people a bit of a heads up this time because, like all of the big holiday achievements, you will benefit from preparing a little bit, at the very least figuring out what achievements you still need, what alts you want to be working on, and whether or not, sharing out the workload is going to be easier for you, or if you want to do the daily events to, get your currency that way. So that's going to be running from the 16th of December, so you've got a little over a week here, all the way until January 2nd. This really does get away from you over the holidays. I know that, I haven't been consistently subscribed over the holidays for the past several years, but if you are, I know that Kimo's got a few things to say about this. It tends to be pretty hard to get these achievements done. So there are a few new things to look out for. We have another Crash and Thrash and controller set. This time it's for the Shredder. We've got some new cushions, which are toys that I don't think I've ever seen anybody ever use, and they seem to be totally irrelevant, but
Cushions?
They're in there.
New cushions?
Yeah, there's like big pillows that you can put on the floor in game that I think you can have your character sit on. They're like big floor pillows.
I want
They come in different colors.
I didn't know that.
That sounds awesome.
Is that new for this year?
No, those were in last year, I think. I think I actually have all of them. I've just never used them because I don't care about toys.
Can you put
Gotta
more than
catch
one down?
them all. Throw pillows.
Yeah, I think they're on
Make like
I
a
think they're all on
bed.
separate cooldowns.
That'd be awesome.
Maybe.
Can you put them over fire in raids so you can like walk over the fire without dying?
No,
Oh.
that does not. They're pillows. What happens when you put pillows in fire?
They would probably make the fire wars.
I don't know. These are magical pillows that you click a little button and they go in the ground. Who knows
I
what
hope we
magical
never
pillows.
have a fire in our house because Kimo would just be like throwing pillows at it. Sorry, go ahead.
I can't find water, but I had this gallon of gasoline. Let me put it out.
Oh man. Call up your shaman friends. Ask for a riptide. Then we've got some new socks transmogs that are evidently ever popular that nobody ever uses.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna ask another question again. Like the student in this one, you can like literally put on socks.
They replace your foot armor transmog, but yes, they go in the foot slot. But there are socks in the game,
and they look like socks.
Are they like candy cane socks or?
Yeah, look up the preview that we've got on Wowhead if you're interested. I would get over there. Our editor is probably going to put a link to that in the description.
Can you walk over fire with these socks? Or these magical socks?
Still no.
No.
I know that you've only been playing the game for a couple months, but I would. There's this old adage that I might stick by. If fire's bad, you best not be in it. All right.
Let me explain you something. I've been playing the game for over 10 years. Okay. Not only do I want to be able to run well casting, which is why I'm a hunter, I want to be able to stand in fire and take no damage. I want everything.
So rather than improving over 10 years, he's just getting steadily worse. This is why our game is continually filled with the outcry for buffing movement and things like that. Ooh. All right. And then the last big thing that we have here to look out for I know that everybody's super excited to go back into Siege of Orgrimmar because that's everybody's favorite raid, and we only had it out for a little while. But if you want to go back, evidently on Christmas Day, and this is something that's probably only going to be exclusive to Christmas Day, you can go in and kill boss, 12 of 13, I believe it is. Or excuse me, Black Fuse. He's not second to last, but the one before.
Third to
the
last,
one
right?
before Paragons. No, it's Paragons, or excuse me, Black Fuse, Paragons, and Gary.
Yeah, third to last. Black Fuse, Paragon, Gary. That's
It doesn't matter.
Either way,
the one
Black
with the one with
Fuse
the
is
track that you sent the hunter up there to kill that stuff, so it wouldn't kill you. That's
Black
the one.
Fuse is really into Christmas, and so he likes to get all dressed up on Christmas Day. His abilities all get temporarily reskinned, so go take a look. Some of the pictures are pretty hilarious. It looks pretty silly. So I would look
Because
out
who
for
doesn't
that.
wake up on Christmas and be like, "Yo, I want to fucking go back to Siege of Orgrimmar."
Exactly.
Yo, my family dinner can wait. Yo, going down to Black Fuse. Going down to Black Fuse.
You know Squid's gonna be there. He's to go and run Siege again.
Aw, good.
Oh shit. It's like 2 years later. Oh, this is how you do the track. I get it now. I got it. I'm just kidding, Lori. Just kidding.
Oh,
He's like gonna unsubscribe now.
that's okay. All right, so the only other real news we have here is about the Legion Alpha. Class halls are going live. Well, the entire alpha is becoming playable, and that's exciting. And for if you're like the three of us and you definitely don't have access to the alpha, you've been looking at all of the things that are coming out over the internet that are all about the alpha. Some of the big things that have been happening this week is we have access to a good chunk of the class order halls. We talk more about this in a fair amount of detail, actually, in another video, so look for that. That's going to be coming out shortly here. And Dalaran is also now accessible to players in its new spot in the Broken Isles, and that's of some interest to some people somewhere. Really, though, although we also discussed this in that video, I think it bears getting into some detail about now. Really, if you look at what they've done, the layout's exactly the same. Really, all we're seeing is some high-res textures, a few details here and there, and some more decorations. Personally, I'm underwhelmed, but one of the things that was brought up at one point was that, what's reasonable to expect for them to have gone back and done, If they changed the entire layout of the city, would we still want to call it Dalaran? So, what do you think?
I would say no. If they change it too much, then it's not the same. And I love Dalaran, so.
Here's my thing. Here's wrap it all up in a nice, pretty nutshell. So, the art team, in my opinion, not everybody thinks so apparently, but my team has done a wonderful job. And they had a lot of artwork put into the weapons and all the variations. If copying Dalaran and just throwing in more pixels will make them be able to do more beautiful artwork and have more weapon variations and more things that we can earn and cooler sets, I'm all for it. If it's one of those kind of things where I feel like everybody, I could be wrong, felt that, Blizzard's team cut Warlord short. They didn't like where it was going. Now they're working on Legion. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be out in like 4 months after BlizzCon. We'll be good to go. And then we have to wait till summer now or longer. Then I would be disappointed. So I'm okay with it. I like Dalaran. I think there is one question that is currently unanswered is that, back in old Dalaran, there was a Horde side and Alliance side. Now that Horde and Alliance are all buddy-buddy and helping, and they're in the class halls together, they're fighting the Legion together. I feel like there is half of Dalaran that could be made into something unique and special if they put the effort into it, where instead of having half Horde, half Alliance, have Horde and Alliance and have something really cool on the other side. I don't know what it is, but something that, a new feature that could make the game fun or some kind of mini game or I don't know, something cool.
I think it depends. If they change it completely, then I would say they should change the name and everything. There's not a point. They shouldn't be changing something that's already, loved by everybody. But if they're adding to it, it's completely different. They should add to it. They should make it better. But they shouldn't change loved aspects of it.
Well, that's true. I mean, but let me look at Cataclysm. No, they changed loved zones all the time. Some of it was really bad. Some
But
people
were people
loved the
happy
old
about
zones,
it,
and some.
or?
I feel like some of the zones people really didn't like the changes, and some of the zones they did. Although I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I feel like, yeah, it could be detrimental changing Dalaran a lot, but I still feel like it could have been a little bit more of a creativity kind of thing. You can still make it a floating city and have the color schemes and the whole Dalaran kind
That's
of
what
feel.
I mean. Like, color schemes, if they change it, I'd be mad.
Yeah, but the way it looks to us, it's literally building almost for building with some extra stuff added in.
It doesn't just look like it. It is. It is the exact same skeleton. It's the old city. The difference is that the sewer access is getting cut off because it's going to be the rogue class hall, and that's something I'd actually like to touch on in a minute. But the only thing that's getting changed is the textures are getting updated.
You mean I can't go into the sewer? Oh no! I love going into the sewer.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that the bulk of our access is restricted from
Unsubscribed. I'm done. Done. No.
We want sewers. We want sewers.
Well, I mean,
smell up in there.
Yeah, even the rogue community is unhappy, but I think that, given that they're not changing very much, we've already all seen what the sewers look like, and everybody else is, well, with the exception of monks, but even then, I think that there's a pretty good case to be made for them getting something special. Everybody's getting something new and special, pretty much, except for the rogues here. And sure, they're making some modifications.
DK is going to get...
That's true. Evanhold is only getting updated. Though, I mean, in some respects, I think that you can make the same argument that you can for the monks, that you don't get to go back in the same way, and I think that they're letting you have some of that access to the way that things were before. Anyway, if you guys want to hear about the class halls in a lot of detail, again, a little bit later this week, we're going to have a video going up, so look for that. It's going to be exciting. It's pretty long, so it's a special episode for you guys.
Yay.
Specialness, yes. So, Starcraft news!
So, Starcraft, really the only big news that we have coming out here is that Nova Covert Ops missions are coming out. These are new missions. They're going to be single-player kind of campaign missions. They are on sale. There's 3 packs. You can count them. There's 3. And they're on sale right now for, I think, 33% off. So if you want to go pick up all of them at once, go do it. They're on sale. Take advantage of it. It's a thing to go buy. If StarCraft and single-player campaigns are your thing, then go look into it. Not only get adds in
the new
units,
expansion?
Yeah, it's an add-on already. So...
All right, am I the only one who finds it weird that a game comes out and 3 weeks later, something like that, they're selling DLC already? It seems like a little much, right? Maybe that should have came out with the original game. I mean, if it was...
Pretty sure it's not a standalone. I mean, I'm not a hardcore StarCraft player. I don't touch it very much. I don't actually have the expansion, nor do I have these missions. But I believe that they have been marketed as campaign editions.
Right. No, I get that. It just seems weird that 3 weeks.
It is a little bit
DLC
unusual.
is out. At least to me.
I mean, a lot of console games launch with DLC available, like games that have collector's editions in some sense. Not so much like Warcraft, but if you think about a game like I know that the Assassin's Creed games do this a lot, where you can pay a little bit extra up front and get like the collector's edition, and it comes with extra missions and gear, and it starts you off with something special, and I think it actually makes your online experience a little bit different, when you're doing multiplayer stuff. But you have the option to go back and pick that stuff up, and in that sense, it is kind of like a DLC patch.
Maybe after the show, you can explain to me what a console game is. I'll understand a little better.
We did this joke last week, okay?
I'm sorry. But all right, but I didn't know it was a normal thing that they do, and all kidding aside, so...
I wouldn't call it normal, but I don't think that it's breaking the mold tremendously. I mean...
Okay.
It's weird for Blizzard. I will certainly give you that. It's weird for Blizzard.
Alright. And now, we're going to go into the Hearthstone news. Says Billy Madison. That's my Billy Madison impression. Billy Madison.
Because, everybody wants to listen to somebody with a speech impediment.
Veronica. Oh, Veronica.
Okay, alright. Hearthstone.
Flipping cards into Hearthstone. We've got some more Wintervale news here.
Yes, everybody wants more Wintervale news. Yes.
Yeah, it's a thing. So we've got card backs that are coming out over the next 3 or 4 months, I believe. I think we've got 3 months worth of card backs, now one every month, and then there is a Wintervale specific Brawlers Guild event where you can unlock a special card back. And there's also some new mechanics for that. Evidently, Warcraft Santa is going to be dropping Christmas presents onto the battlefield, and you can use them to your favor. So look for that. Maps are getting reskinned to have snow on them and things like that. I think we've got a new map, and we have some unique interactions. I think we might even have holiday-themed heroes, though don't quote me on that one. I think that's just sort of one of those in-the-works kind of a things that's out there. The card backs actually look pretty cool. I think that there's one that looks kind of like a gingerbread house, and that one's kind of fun. So,
oh my goodness, gingerbread houses! Don't. No, Naomii was like, she comes to me the other day. She goes, "Hey, I never built a gingerbread house before." And a couple days later, "Hey, I really would like to build a gingerbread house." And then she's like, "Hey, it'd be fun." Building a gingerbread house. I'm like, I get it.
He finally went out and bought all the stuff for a gingerbread house. It made me so happy. I was like, yay.
Oh man. Over here on the West Coast, we've got a thing where every holiday season after the Thanksgiving Day parade, there is these professional builders from different construction communities around the city. They get together and they build ginormous gingerbread houses that are all fantasy themed, or there's normally some Disney themed ones.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
moving parts and stuff like that. So come out here and we'll show you those. There's 15 or 20 of them. It's a free thing too. It's open to the public. You can go in there and look at what they've made, and so it's cool.
It sounds so nice where you live.
Jersey
people don't do things like that for free.
I see a newspaper article like, Jersey woman arrested for taking a bite out of gingerbread house masterpiece.
Yeah, they no touching, but they do give you as many free candy canes as you can eat. So.
Yay.
Oh shit. So Hearthstone. I'm gonna talk about the power creep.
Sure. Talk about the power creep.
So, for those of you who don't know what power creep means, it means
Wait, power crepe or power crepe?
I would go for power creep.
Yeah.
Power crepe. Sorry, go ahead.
So Magic the Gathering is a great example, or Yu-Gi-Oh. Expansion after expansion, new cards after new cards. Eventually, some cards get banned in tournament play, just because they're too strong or this or that. And Hearthstone, not yet, but it's getting close to the age of, are they going to do banned cards? How much more can you add before certain things are overpowered or certain things just don't belong in the championship games anymore? So, I know a great example. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! They had, my character. He says hi. Oh, his shoulders are popping up too. Oh, flexing. They would get rid of cards like Regeki. Regeki was a card that came out with Yu-Gi-Oh! Where it would destroy every single monster on your opponent's side of the field. It was just a pay to win. Here, I'm going to work on combining all these parts to summon this badass creature. I'm like, Regeki. Done. It just doesn't fit in the game anymore when they make expansions that go around really building up these huge monsters just to be able to one-shot them and all that kind of stuff. So will they be making any cards illegal soon when new expansions come out? Will they do it just in quick match play or some kind of mode? They would need another mode to make it work, I would think. Because I would still want to be able to use the cards I use during quick match. But unfortunately, the quick match is also the ranked match. There is no like Heroes of the Storm where you have quick match and league play. The quick match and league play are in as one. So they would definitely, in my opinion, need another mode. Just being able to use it against a friend in a fun match would not be good enough for me, especially since I paid good money for these cards. That being said, I'm gonna let you guys respond while I log my character back in.
I have a feeling Wisdom has something to say about this.
Yeah, I think that maybe, power creep is not an uncommon concept in a lot of games, but maybe a better example for the people who actually like to watch a show like this would be, I'm sure that pretty much everybody who plays Warcraft remembers the stat squish. That was not that common. We'd never seen something like that before in one of these games, and so that just happened all of a sudden. And that was because you had people dealing millions of damage. You had tanks with well over 1 million health. The numbers were just out of control, and so in order to rein things back in, they did a stat squish. And that sort of speaks to what we're seeing happening in Hearthstone, where one of the examples that was used recently is that I thought actually sort of illustrated the point well. There are, if you look at just the cards that came with Hearthstone as a base game without any expansions, way back, in its initial release, you would have some 7 mana cost cards that would drop as like a 5/6 or something like that. And even then, those were, potent. And they certainly didn't have any sort of ability text or as any like battle cry, death rattle, nothing like that. You can think of it kind of like in how Warcraft items have a stat budget. If you have an item that is going to come with a socket on it, that comes from, it has less crit or mastery or whatever on it to compensate for the fact that it has a socket so that it's balanced. But now you've got a 7 mana 7/7 with a battle cry. So you see more things and more power being added on for the exact same price tag. So if you just build a deck with old cards and you just build a deck with new cards, the new card deck will win pretty much every single time.
But I think where the bigger issue comes in is when the new more less about the, like in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic, it was more about the older cards. I feel like this one's gonna be more about the newer cards. So they're really, instead of paying 3 mana and getting a 3/4, you're paying 3 mana and getting a 3/3 with a 2 discover, and you're getting an extra card out of it, or you're up trading. I think in a year or two down the line, where do you draw the line? Because people are just it's just gonna keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger, or different and different and different, like discover, death rattle, battle cries, different new mechanics, and eventually there's going to be some cards, whether from old school or new school, that mix in with those in a way that is unfair. And I think that's the only way you can put it. And
like the one that stands out to me from the original card list is Faceless Manipulator, because that's a really unique card. And if you use that well, you can do a lot of different, interesting, clever things with it. You can kind of abuse it, even though you can only put 2 in a deck. That's still quite potent. So, always referencing, well, if I use the new set of cards that just came out, how can I Faceless Manipulator these cards is always going to be kind of a relevant thing in my mind, because it's not meant to work that way. And so it lets you bend the rules just a little bit by using something like that that's really distinct and unique. I think one of the best examples, that I can think of something like this is, I don't play Hearthstone very much. And, I played it when it was relatively new, and I played for a little while, and I had pretty much all of the shaman cards at the time, because that was what I was interested in playing. And so I built a shaman deck, and I was playing effectively with it, but I never really got into ranked or anything like that. And so I don't think that I could take that deck now, even though it was a decent deck at the time, and jump back into even like casual play and still expect to do well, and especially not in decent level ranked play. So to some extent, I think that having all of the new cards and things like that, especially even if they are relatively microtransactions, having all of the expansion cards locked and things like that, that is sort of a turnoff to new players, and especially to returning ones.
Well, I mean, coming from somebody who I do have a lot of TCG experience, lots with Magic and with Yu-Gi-Oh! I may have won a Toys R Us tournament and got a free trip to Madison Square Garden to play in the glass room of Toys R Us. I'm kind of a big deal here, is what I'm saying. But to be honest, coming from that kind of perspective, I feel like Hearthstone's still much more friendly because you can go. It's kind of like starting PvP. You can go and you can get your ass kicked and slowly earn gold and buy packs for free if you're returning, and you can still get cards for free if you're returning. Whereas if any other card game that exists out there, you would have to go and literally just buy packs. There is no, you can't disenchant your old cards. You can't, you know,
I disenchant my old Pokemon cards all the time.
I feel like, yes, it is intimidating if you want to come back, but in any card game, if you're going to come back after a couple expansions, regardless of, what game it is, you're going to have to spend some money. In Hearthstone, you have the option of spending some money or, possibly having a decent headache while you do these quests for a while and earn enough gold to get the cards, but at least you have the option to not have to spend a lot of money. I think compared to other card games, it's the best option out there. I don't think that I don't think there's an easier way to do it. And if Blizzard comes up with one, grats. But it's just the way of life. You just can't come into something. You can't come into, buy Warlords and expect to have, 725 gear to join the group. You got to level up. Then you got to start getting your gear. It's the same thing. It's just you can't just expect to go in and be able to keep up with everybody when you haven't played for a while.
Yeah, I'm not expecting to win, a lot of ranked games or anything like that. But a lot of what drew me in initially was that, it's a free-to-play card game where there is no pay-to-win scheme, realistically, unless you just build a solid legendary deck. And even then, that's not always going to be a guaranteed win. But, it was just easier to sort of get into and pick up. And now I think that the further we get into it and the way that they're sort of building into the game, it gets progressively harder to do something like that.
And you're absolutely right. I had a Shaman deck that I loved. Actually, I started with Shaman, I think, too. And I had the, I forget his weapon that has Wind Fury, and I would use the 2+3 attacks on it, and I would love to combo with it and just do an insane amount of damage. And when the new expansion came out, that deck turned absolute garbage. And even my favorite Priest deck that I love to play, I can use it in like the modes of adventure and stuff like that, but in competitive play, it's not as great anymore. And there's a definite power difference between the new and the old. And I mean, I bought a lot of the new. I just like some of my old decks. Unfortunately, they're just not competitive. But I try to use them when I can, like during the fun times and the adventure modes and stuff like that. They still work fine. And we'll see how Blizzard handles it in the future because the more people they get to come back, the more money they make. So it's in their best interest to do something. I would maybe suggest maybe a bundle pack kind of thing for people who haven't played in a while. So instead of buying 50, just an example, I don't memorize the price. Instead of getting 50 packs for $40, you can get 50 packs for $25 if you haven't played in so long, or some kind of coming back once every 2 year coming back package. It kind of gets you up with the new expansion. So you can pay like a smaller amount of money, but getting a reasonable amount of cards. Something along those lines. You have such
good ideas for Blizzard. They should watch our show.
They should watch our show and promote it on their website.
So,
but one other interesting Hearthstone topic while we're on it is the Reno Jackson. Some people are saying he's broken.
And other people are adamant that he is not, which I think is really interesting. You don't often see a lot of people going back and forth about whether or not something's broken with a really strong commentary for people not being able to see that something really isn't the way it's supposed to be.
Well, before we get into it real quick, for the viewers who don't know, Reno Jackson is a card that you can get with the new adventure. And what happens is if you have a deck where you don't play a double of any card, so you have one of, well, you don't have two of any of the same card in your deck.
Left in your deck is the caveat there. It's left in your deck. So the smart thing to do.
Are you sure? I thought it was. I thought you had to make the deck. Oh! I misunderstood. I thought it was you had to make a deck without a double of any card at all.
So if you got perfect card draw, you could stick 2 or 3 duplicates in there, and if that was your opening hand, then you'd be good to go. But
shit.
if you build it, let's say that you only have one duplicate in your entire deck, and those are the last two cards, well, then you're boned. You can't ever use it, you know? So do you want to take that risk?
Okay, see, okay, my original opinion was based on the fact that I thought you had to build a deck without a double of anything. And then you would pretty much happen when you play him, you go back to full health. I did not realize that it was left in your deck. So my previously opinions to talk about this. This is my surprised, mind blown face. I don't know what to say about it.
I wonder if certain people have their opinions because they misunderstood it, like Chemo.
That's possible.
I think the text is on the card, so maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that most of the people actually look at it and read their show notes.
I'm pretty sure most
Oh,
of the people
shit.
read the card. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
shots
yeah.
fired.
I think that it does, at least to me, sound a little overpowered. I don't have my hands on it. I can't play with it. But I know that there are a lot of low-cost generic cards that let you pick up cards again. And Sereno Jackson's Battle Cry is what restores your hero to full health. And that, to me, is a little broken. Because if I can find 4 different cards that'll let me pick him up for relatively little cost, and I just do that over and over, I can build a single card deck, right? Where I've only got one of every single card that I'm using.
Oh,
And be just fine, and pick him up and put him down over and over again.
that is kind of broken.
So
isn't it?
here's my question though, right? So say you have a deck and you have 3 doubles of cards, right? Obviously, you're not going to probably play him in a deck that has a lot of doubles. Like you want to play him in a deck if you're just has a couple doubles. I would assume. Does he light up? Like when you play certain cards and like the Rogue, when you play a card and it's ready to combo, the card will light up. Does it light up and tell you like, hey, you don't have any more doubles now, so the effect will work? Like, I wonder how much memorization goes into that player. You play game after game after game, and you go, did I use my first Frostbolt? Did I use my first Fireball? Did I use whatever? Like, I wonder if it actually will tell you, like, the rogue combo ones when you use a card in the beginning, or you actually have to memorize it, because that would also put another level of gameplay onto it, too. Especially when you play game after game after game after game. They can kind of meld together a little bit, You only got so much time to figure it out.
Well, I mean, like that situation I was presenting earlier, where even if you only have one set of duplicates and it's the last 2 cards in your deck, in that kind of a position, there's really...
I'm sorry.
Spawn their mount.
I didn't realize I had my WoW sound on, and somebody decided to spawn their mammoth mount and start repairing right in front of me. Okay. I'm sorry. Continue. Game and you.
All right. So, I think that you probably wouldn't ever want to build a deck with any doubles in it just to not take the risk. But ultimately, I think it's going to come down to being able to take advantage of him, getting lucky, building a smart deck. And ultimately, even if you do allocate 5 of your 30 cards to be Reno and 4 pickups, that really only leaves you with 25 cards to do damage with. So, I don't know if building a deck that just heals you forever is really feasible if you can ever actually work down your opponent. So,
I just heard that you want to take advantage of Reno and get lucky. That is what you said, just so you know. We want to make sure you take advantage of Reno and get lucky. I'm like, okay, wisdom. Moving on before he quits the show. Going on to Overwatch news.
All right, and so for our last game of the week, we have got Overwatch on deck. Now, the big news here is actually very, very recent. All new heroes and new maps will be free, not paid DLC. So this blows our conversation from last week just out of the water, because we did not see this coming. We didn't think it would go this way. I'm sure that everybody's excited now that it is, and I, for one, think that it's not a bad way of doing it. I'm just surprised because they had this great money grab right in front of them and they didn't take it. So, I'm not really sure what they're going to do now to make us pay for it.
Something is wrong in the Force. Nobody does all this for free. Arg, matey, I don't see the pirates giving up their booty.
Okay.
No, something's wrong. Something very wrong.
Wrong something.
There's a trap. I am happy, but I am cautious. I don't know. Like you do so much work and give it away for free. I don't.
Well, I mean, besides the upfront buy, you know.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, is there really that much? I mean, maybe there's a lot of money to be made in esports, a lot more than we realize, and it's worth it for them to keep everybody in the same bubble instead of segregating the customer base.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And that's why they're really pushing. I mean, obviously they got that whole new esport division going on there, but I don't know.
Okay, so before we get super far into this, let me just say that this is weird behavior for Blizzard. This is not actually really uncommon behavior in general. I think one of my favorite examples of this are most early access games will patch your game until the end of time for as long as they're going to make patches and not make you pay anything more than the upfront. Like even relatively big games like Kerbal Space Program, if you bought in early enough in their alpha or beta or whatever, they won't charge you. They've got a thing that they say that they will not charge you for anything that they ever come out with, even if they charge other customers for it. If you bought in early enough, they will not make you pay for that. A good chunk of the other early access games do something similar, where you get involved, and then they support you, and they appreciate your contribution. I think Prison Architect does the same kind of a deal. And now that you know all of the games that I play, it really is. I don't think it's hugely weird. It's just uncommon for Blizzard because we don't see this kind of behavior. Either you've got free-to-play games that they take as free-to-play initially and then they charge you for the expansions, or they have subscription-based games, or big expansion-based games. And it doesn't seem like they're really running any of these other games like Overwatch. So I do think that it's very unique for them, and I'll be curious to see how they decide to make money off of this. Like, if it's purely through cosmetics, I think that'll be interesting, but I don't know if they're setting themselves up for those kinds of microtransactions.
It feels like a trap. It's like, where are they going to make money from?
You know what it is? It seems like two different heads of Blizzard are leading two different games. I mean, obviously, yes, there's a different Overwatch head and there's a different, Warcraft head. But I mean, like, Warcraft has seemed a little more money grubbing than in the past. And just giving us such little content for the same amount of price and, monthly subscriptions and really getting nothing out of it in comparison to other expansions. And then to turn around and go, we're going to give you, a free Diablo 3 update that's going to give you all these great things, and we're not going to charge you for any more heroes and Overwatch. It just, I don't know if like somebody at the top changed and was like, listen, we're going to start taking care of our customers, and maybe we'll see a change in Warcraft, or if it's based purely on the heads of each game. I just felt like the forces of the games have been conflicting each other, and it's confusing. Like, if it wasn't for Warcraft, my reaction is probably, good job, Blizz. Keep on with your taking care of your customers. This is why we support and love you. But when Warcraft feels so much money grubbing in the last 6 months to a year, and then they do the Diablo and the Overwatch thing, it just creates a sense of confusion for me more than anything else. But I mean, I'm happy. It gives me hope that, maybe this Warcraft thing was just a huge fluke and they're going to fix it. But I don't know, just conflicting.
Cautiously optimistic is really kind of the mood that we've got.
Perfect way to put it.
With the banner. So, please let us know what you think, because this has got us puzzled, and I would be curious to see what you guys have to say as well. Maybe they will take the early access route and limit it to people who, do like a buy-in in advance. Given that that's really the only level that we have the game at this point, they wouldn't technically, I think, be going back on their word if that was the way they decided to spin it, but it's a big thing to come out and say. And this was not sort of a rumor or anything like this. This was like lead game developer kind of a statement. So this is out there, and if you would like to see some evidence of it, it's right on the front page of a couple different news sites that talk about Overwatch. So go out there and search the internet, and I'm sure that you can get your hands on this news.
Yo, guys, new maps and patches and heroes will be free. No more DLC. 2 years later, not one new hero or map added. Never said they would be coming. We just said they would be free.
All right, now I realize that this is in a much different kind of a tone, but I was reading through the patch notes here for some of the development changes that are going on in Overwatch. I don't think I have ever encountered a patch note, with the exception of the Warcraft April Fool's posts, that's made me laugh like this. Overwatch is now re-examining the concept of being on fire. So it looks like they're going to be doing some, I guess, texture changes and probably reevaluating how the damage works. But coming from a longtime Warcraft player, that just makes me giggle.
On fire.
I'm gonna have to go check that out. Oh shit.
Okay, what's next? Me?
You're next. So we're gonna do a little bit of, hopefully every week, if we have some time, we're gonna do a little bit of story time with Naomii, and she's gonna pick a story of one of her favorite Overwatch characters, and she's going to quickly talk about it. Quickly.
I'm summarizing here.
Yes.
So today I'm going to talk about the lovely D.Va. Her story was that 20 years ago in South Korea, a horrible monstrosity came out of the ocean and started killing all the surrounding cities of her, her village. And the government decided that they needed to create something to kill it. It was an Omnic. And so
are you talking about Godzilla, or are you talking about Overwatch? You sound a lot like Godzilla right now.
So what they created was called a mecha, and it was kind of like a robot. But see, the problem was it originally scared the monster back into the ocean, but when it came back a few years later, it attacked the mecha and it learned from it. So every single time it would come up, it would learn from the Korean.
So now it's Pacific Rim.
Yeah. So it started learning, basically. That's all I have to say. So they were really nervous, and they decided to hire all the really professional gamers around South Korea to run. What?
No, there's a huge monster killing everybody. Let's gather all the gamers together.
No, because
Rally the gamers.
No, I'm sorry. I guess I explained this wrong.
No, you're not. You're going fine.
We're not faulting you. It's the story. That's all.
They needed the gamers. I hope I'm telling you right. They needed the gamers to run the robots to kill the Omnic.
Mm-hmm.
So they hired Hannah Song, who is known as D.Va in her professional gaming career, and she's very serious. She doesn't let anybody win. She's,
not even herself.
Not even herself. The highest possible professional gamer that there is. And she fights to save her country with her units, and she starts broadcasting it to her fans. And so her name D.Va becomes like this global icon. And that's, she's really
Does she have
cool.
a YouTube channel?
Probably.
I'd love to watch her
In the story, apparently she does.
Come back, ladies and gentlemen, at 11 o'clock Saturday night. I will be taking on Godzilla live on Twitch.
She has a lot of really cool talents. You can check them out if you just Google Overwatch.com.
Do you know any of her talents?
Not off the top of my head.
No.
I watched them over and over again last night. I don't know what they're called, but they're really cool, and you should check them out.
Cool.
She's the one in the pink robot, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the one right behind. You can see her. You were good. Yeah, there you go.
I think that's one of the more interesting ones, just from a gameplay perspective, because normally, when you run out of health, you die. That's traditionally how these things work, even in real life. And
Normally.
and getting myself with my
Normally
own
what
jokes
happens.
is so embarrassing. D.Va, when her robot suit explodes, she's still alive. She's just incredibly squishy. So, she can actually still, if she can live long enough, she can call down another robot to get into instead. So, you can theoretically play a perfect game with D.Va, even if you lose your robot suit a couple times. So, I like that idea.
I think
it
she
would be
even
interesting
has.
to play.
Is she the one that has self-destruct? She jumps out of it, and her robot continues to walk forward and just self-destructs. I think that's
You
her.
would know more than I.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
really
think there's
cool.
any other robots except the healing one, right?
I mean, there's a few mechanical people like Genji,
Yeah, but you don't jump out of.
but he doesn't like get out of it.
Genji's
yeah.
the man. I like Genji.
He's like, yeah, that's a really cool story also. But I really,
We'll come back for that next week.
yeah, that's a good idea. But my favorite right now is May, but Diva is my favorite story at the moment, so.
Word.
That would go with that.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that wraps up this episode of The Banner Ahead of the Curve. If you liked our video, please like, comment, and subscribe below. If you liked our art, check out our wonderful artist link below. This has been Kimasabix.
I've been Naomi.
And I've been Wisdom. Please let us know down in the comments what you think about power creep in the different Blizzard games that we've seen. Do the Starcraft unit changes bother you? Is World of Warcraft getting out of hand, or is it really just relegated to Hearthstone right now? So please let us know. We would love to hear from you. As always, thank you for watching and have a good night.
Bye.
Oh boy! And stay tuned for the bloopers.
Oh,
Oh
God.
boy again! Oh boy a third time!
Okay.
And we're done.
Me messing up is not fun.
Is coming up here. We want to get everybody involved. What?
I'm just cracking me
Don't.
up, man.
Don't.
I'm sorry.
It's not helping. Now I have to do it
There's
over
a
again.
horse spot in your screen.
As